This is my first painting of her before I knew her. Before I forced her away from the house. I imagined her rising from her sleep, pushing back her feet, stretching one hand, taming her glorious hair.
He painted me in a doom, one of many rising from the grave, naked, vainly smoothing my hair. He didn't know me then. He had my arms all raw, my elbows sharp, my wrists bony. He didn't know the hours I spent digging beds for potatoes, or all the time I spent picking apples from the orchard. He didn't know I had muscles, not then. He imagined me naked and vain and damned, not yet pushed into the maw of a demon, not yet weighed by Michael's scales, but oh yes, I had been judged by Master Menley, judged and damned.
She made me promise never to paint her naked again. She said the painting looked like evidence of my knowledge of her. No one would ever believe I hadn't seen her naked, not touched that skin.
He keeps me out of sight, as effectively cloistered as if in a nunnery, but without the comfort of my sisters, without the comfort of my vocation.
It was a harsh promise. I had thought to paint her as Bathsheba or Susanna. I am consumed by a need to capture her beauty. Since the moment I first caught sight of her standing amongst the daffodils, east wind catching scarf and hair. And they would have shaved her head and hidden her beauty from the world. I preserved her modesty, shroud caught around her hips, back turned, face in profile as I first saw her, a look of wonder and gratitude to stand whole before her Creator, as must we all, come Judgment Day. She doesn't see the tenderness in that.
I still dream the gasp that Sister Anna gave, the way there's happy, excited murmuring in a busy beehive, and suddenly it drops into silence, all from her gasp. And then the whispering, harsh and breathy, and the sideways glances, and the space opening around me, cold as the north wind. I still dream of the sound of that great door closing behind them, and the darkness of the hall, with the doom glowering at me in the light of the remaining candles, and his face as he realized what he had done with his joking little portrait. It's hard to remember that I was not used to seeing myself reflected in his endless paintings, not then. I had not looked at myself in a mirror for nearly a year. It is hard to remember that I did not even recognize the shape of my own face. When I dream this dream, when I turn to him, he has the face of the devil. But as I recall at the time, as I reached blindly for what I was meant to do, with my breath drawn in and in, but not filling my lungs, my mind stung by 1,000 whiplashes of shame and confusion, his face was wet with tears.
Perhaps it is true. Perhaps I did destroy her. They would not take her back. They refused to pay me. I wouldn't take the picture back, and she had nowhere else to go. I felt responsible. I had to do something for her. I did what I could.
This is the painting I like the best. It's a crazy triptych, a 3-part portrait, as though He can never tire of gazing, never weary of the brush strokes that shape my face. Here, I kneel to receive a wedding ring from the Christ child. The irony is not lost on him. The marriage with Christ he denied me. The marriage with man that he is not free to offer. He tries to make good with this painted simulacrum. And here I sit and contemplate a book, peaceful, secluded. Another joy denied. There was no book. I held a block of wood while he painted. I think I could be content in a tower with a book, like Saint Barbara. But he has denied me that too. And here, central and enthroned, I sit with the Christ child on my knee, the third in his trinity of denied pleasures.
So many Christs, always the same Madonna.
The models for the Christ have never sprung from my body, though sometimes from his. He has the arrogance to bring his offspring to the altar of art. He has no idea how this pains me.
And I must sell each painting away,
But
like selling a child promised before its birth to the demon Mammon.
But the beauty of this painting, it transcends all discontent, all loss. I want to be her, the woman he paints, she who has never lost her wonder at the world, her awe at the glory of God.
I try again and again to capture that moment in the garden, that sense of her soul revealed, like the beating of a trapped bird in the pulse of her throat, revealed. In the unconscious way, she turns back the cuff of her shirt as though about to undertake some endeavor. I want to capture her as Saint Martha with a dragon obedient on a string, or as Fortitude prizing open the mouth of a lion and that cuff turned further back to reveal that once sturdy wrist. Instead, I paint her again as the Madonna, my virgin, my queen of heaven. She cannot see the love in every grain of color, in every drop of oil.
I want to climb into his painted world and be Catherine, meeting her God and her fate. I want to be the young woman he sees when he looks at me. Past 40 now, my arms grown quite as thin and bony as when he first imagined them. Oh, to be that woman, any one of them.
She thinks I do not understand, do not regret, do not repent.
I heard him once answering a patron's, "Who is she?"
A woman I saw once, such a perfect specimen of God's creation. I could never wipe her from my mind.
And in some ways it is true, that is who he paints. The girl he first saw through the convent gate, standing in a field of daffodils. But no matter what role he gives me in paint, and no more true than any of them, the role he has given me in life is this: Master Memling's whore.